Welcome back, everyone. J-Bone here for Smash This Podcast. Continuing this hashtag 30-year anniversary series. Excuse me. Continuing it with the release of Lita from Lita Ford. It came out, it was busy this past weekend, so I missed it by a couple days. But nonetheless, within a few days of the release from 30 years ago. Wow. And just wanted to give this one its proper due. Excuse me. And congratulate Lita on this, because there were such iconic songs that came out on this. And when I was looking through my CD collection, I felt a little bad, and I realized that I don't have this one. And I thought I did, but what I do have was one of the greatest hits that came out shortly thereafter, early 90s. And it's got a few of the songs on here. So yeah, when I was giving this a listen over the course of the last couple days, of course you recognize the singles that were on here, but Can't Catch Me and Blueberry are also on that one. So yeah, this wasn't all completely oblivious to me, but I gave it, some good spins, and of course recognizing the singles, which we'll talk about in a second. But in hearing Can't Catch Me Again was a very loving reminder why I love Lita Ford's music. This one is just, in my opinion, this one should have started out the release as opposed to Back to the Cave. I like Back to the Cave. It's just, I don't know, just compared to some of the other stuff on here that has more of a punch, I felt like Can't Catch Me should have, or Kiss Me Deadly should have kicked off this release. But nonetheless, just some all-around good rockin' stuff from her on here. And this was, to be honest, I think from, a lot of my kids excuse me, my kids weren't around back then. From a lot of kids back then, including myself, this was our introduction to Lita Ford. Her shaking her butt in the, falling in and out of love, Kiss Me Deadly, just, it was like, all over MTV. And then, of course, the iconic duo, and I mean iconic, Close My Eyes Forever with Ozzy. And one interesting thing, and there's not a lot on this, but I did want to at least look this up just to, just check out, just read up on it a little bit, see what Wikipedia said on it. One thing that I'd always wanted to know, that I was always curious about, was how these two ended up together recording this, Ozzy and Lita. It always just, I was just always wondered. And so I'm reading this, and it said that this release was her first for RCA Records, and her first published with the supervision of new manager Sharon Osbourne. And I was like, oh, well, there you go. You don't need much more approval than that from the old wife herself, right? So, so that explains that one. Don't need to explain that any further. But I would still love to hear the story on behind how Lita got with the management of, Sharon Osbourne, and what the relationship was and how long it lasted. I would love to hear that story. And that's one thing I do not know, is a lot of past stuff from Lita, other than, some of her releases. So yeah, I just wanted to give this one its due credit and talk about it a little bit. There's in the singles that everyone knows from this. And come to think of it, and this is probably, I know this is probably going to come off as sounding bad, and it's not meant to, but some of these were played on the radio and MTV so much back then that it was like, oh, I mean, it was good, but I think that's probably the reason why I didn't buy it, because it was like played so much. It was like I had no reason to buy it, you know. But now, you know, after years, and now I'm listening to this, and I'm like, wow, this is really good. This is one I need to own. So I'm going to definitely put this on my to-do list to go get sometime. Yeah, I went to a party last Saturday night. I didn't get laid. I got in a fight. That's how iconic, seriously, were those lyrics to that big song of hers, Kiss Me Deadly. That, in fact, I just heard that today. No, when was it? It was within the last day or two. I was driving somewhere with my daughter, and I was like, oh, and I said to her, I said, oh, I'm going to be reviewing this one and talking about how it's turning 30, you know, a 30-year anniversary. And I'm like, this is so fun. And she was kind of bopping her head along with it. I love always introducing her to new stuff. Just, you know, there's so many different things out there that the kids listen to, and I try to, like, you know, at least give everything, you know, a one listen, at least be like, oh, that's what you're listening to? Oh, okay. You know, whether I like it or not, you know. And then I'll be like, oh, well, check this out, you know. So, you know, you got to teach that next generation. You got to, you know. It's just, I love sharing the stuff that I listen to with my kids, you know. Whether they dig it or not, whether it's their cup of tea or not, I still do, you know. So yeah, Kiss Me Deadly came on the radio. I got all excited, and I was like, yeah, I gotta listen to this one again. And then, of course, you know, the duo, Close My Eyes Forever. And as I gave the rest of this a pretty healthy spin over the last 2 days or so, hearing Can't Catch Me in Blueberry again, you know, I was like, oh yeah, I know these songs. Great stuff. Can't Catch Me has such a punch to it. In fact, this one, what did this say? Oh, this one was co-written by good old Lemmy for Motorhead. So that right there was like, oh, yeah, no wonder it's got such a fast punch to it. It's Motorhead. It's got that, you know, da-da-da-da-da, you know. Yeah, makes sense. Probably the heaviest thing on here, honestly. Blueberry, Kiss Me Deadly. What else did I thoroughly enjoy off of? Falling In and Out of Love, co-written by Nikki Sixx. Loved this one. Loved the video when it came out. I played this one, I don't know how many times. And one that was fresh to my ears that I gave this a few spins and I really liked is Under the Gun. Reminds me of, just like if I could compare it to anything that like really caught my ear, that made me go, oh yeah, it sounds like, to me it sounded like early Bon Jovi from like 7800 Fahrenheit. Had some melody lines in there. It just sounded really cool. So yeah, that's about it for this one. Wanted to, like I said, give this one its a good few spins and just say, you know, hashtag happy 30th anniversary. And much love to Lita Ford and can't wait to see what you do next. Yeah, it's one of those. I think I need to check out some of our other stuff real soon. You know. So happy 30th, and thanks for watching this one. If you like the content, give it a like. If you're new to the channel, go check out some of the other content. There's other hashtag 30-year anniversary ones I've been doing since the year started. New series I'm doing on here, along with other stuff, a lot of pro wrestling content. And so yeah, give the channel a sub if you dig the content, and share it with your friends. And we'll see you down the road real soon for the next one.